Jenna Ortega, the rapidly rising Disney and Netflix star who has captured global attention with her breakthrough role in the series Wednesday, recently found herself at the center of an unexpected and rather bewildering swirl of celebrity gossip. Rumors surfaced online suggesting that she was romantically linked to Hollywood icon Johnny Depp, a man nearly 4 decades her senior. The internet, as always, was quick to speculate, theorize, and even fabricate supposed evidence. But Jenna Ortega didn't hesitate to shut down the whispers, issuing a firm denial that left little room for ambiguity. What followed was a media whirlwind that not only spotlighted the way celebrity rumors escalate in the digital age, but also highlighted the contrasting public personas of both Ortega and Depp. Together, their individual reactions to the saga provided a revealing snapshot into how today's stars, both emerging and established, navigate the relentless attention of fame. The rumors reportedly began on a few gossip blogs and quickly escalated when an unverified Instagram post claimed Ortega and Depp had been spotted together. The details were vague, lacking photos or legitimate sources, yet the sheer notoriety of both names was enough to ignite a viral firestorm. Within hours, online forums, fan pages, and Twitter threads were rife with speculation. Some even theorized that Depp had been cast in the 2nd season of Wednesday, while others jumped to the conclusion that the two were secretly dating. The supposed relationship between a 61-year-old man and a 21-year-old actress was immediately met with disbelief, skepticism, and outrage from various quarters. Critics pointed to the massive age gap, while others dismissed the rumor as a tasteless fabrication. Jenna Ortega was quick to set the record straight. Through her Instagram stories, the young actress posted a simple but direct message. "This is so ridiculous, I can't even laugh. I have never met or worked with Johnny Depp in my life. Please stop spreading lies and leave us alone." Her post cut through the noise with a tone of exasperated clarity. There was no fluff, no diplomatic evasion, just a straightforward denial that underscored how frustrating it must be to have one's name dragged into baseless rumors. Her words resonated with fans who admired her professionalism and maturity, especially given that Ortega has become something of a role model for Gen Z. Her career, marked by a series of thoughtful choices and breakout performances, stands in sharp contrast to the sensationalism of the gossip surrounding her. Johnny Depp's camp also issued a denial. Through a representative, Depp firmly stated that he had never met Jenna Ortega and had no intention of working with her on any current or upcoming project. The spokesperson referred to the rumor as completely untrue and malicious, emphasizing that such stories are not only false but also potentially damaging to both parties. For Depp, who has spent years battling the fallout from a very public and acrimonious legal war with ex-wife Amber Heard, this rumor was another frustrating chapter in his complicated relationship with the press, having recently begun to rehabilitate his image following the highly publicized defamation trial. The last thing he likely needed was another baseless scandal. For Ortega, it was a distraction at best, and an unwanted invasion of privacy at worst. The rapid spread of the rumor and its immediate refutation says much about the speed at which misinformation travels in the modern age. Neither Ortega nor Depp had to wait for a tabloid story to hit the newsstands. Instead, a few whispers on social media platforms were enough to generate headlines and online outrage. This phenomenon reflects how the internet, with its insatiable hunger for drama, often blurs the line between fact and fiction. The rumor wasn't born out of a legitimate tip or paparazzi photo, it was spun from nothing. Yet the sheer plausibility of celebrity gossip in today's media climate was enough to make many people take it seriously, if only for a moment. 4. Jenna Ortega, the timing of the rumor was particularly frustrating. At just 21, she's riding a wave of success that many young actors only dream of. With standout roles in Scream, You, and of course, Wednesday, Ortega has earned a reputation as one of Hollywood's most promising young talents. She's known for her thoughtful interviews, advocacy on mental health, and commitment to taking on challenging roles that push her beyond the traditional Disney mold. Being dragged into a false rumor involving a much older actor threatened to overshadow her recent achievements and shift the conversation away from her work. It's worth noting how the public's reaction to the rumor reflected deeper societal concerns about power dynamics, age gaps, and media manipulation. A significant portion of the backlash was not merely about the inaccuracy of the claim, but about what such a pairing would represent. Many commentators pointed out that if the rumor had been true, it would raise uncomfortable questions about consent, mentorship, and industry influence. In an era still deeply influenced by the Nasher Me Too movement, such rumors are no longer dismissed as idle chatter. They carry significant weight. That's part of what made Ortega's denial so important. She didn't just brush the rumor aside. She called it out as a lie and demanded that people respect her autonomy and privacy. Johnny Depp's involvement in the rumor also added complexity. Once one of the most beloved actors in Hollywood, Depp's reputation has taken a hit in recent years. His legal battles with Amber Heard, which involved allegations of domestic abuse and defamation, divided public opinion and thrust his personal life into the spotlight. Although he won the defamation suit in 2022 and received support from many fans, others remain critical of his behavior. In that context, any rumor involving a young actress like Ortega was bound to be met with skepticism and concern. Depp's team understood that clearly, and their swift response indicated a desire to avoid another media circus. There's also the matter of how celebrity rumors reflect our own obsession with fame. The public is often quick to romanticize or vilify high-profile individuals, especially when their names are linked in unexpected ways. Pairing Ortega and Depp in a fictional romance was, for some, just another entertaining narrative in the never-ending story of Hollywood. But for the individuals involved, it was an unsettling intrusion. Both stars were essentially robbed of their agency, reduced to characters in someone else's made-up drama. It's a reminder that fame comes with a cost, particularly in an era when social media can amplify even the most outlandish claims. Fans of Jenna Ortega rallied to her defense, applauding her candor and maturity. Many highlighted how damaging such rumors can be, especially for young women in Hollywood. Female celebrities often face more intense scrutiny about their personal lives, and false rumors can derail careers or create lasting reputational harm. Ortega's fans were quick to point out that she has earned her place in the industry through talent and hard work, not because of any connections to older male stars. Her frustration was palpable, and fans respected her for drawing a clear line in the sand. Likewise, Depp's fans were split. Some were outraged that he had been dragged into yet another controversy, especially when he appeared to be focusing on music and independent film projects following the resolution of his court cases. Others were relieved to see such a fast denial from his team, interpreting it as a sign that Depp was trying to avoid unnecessary drama. Still, the fact that such a rumor gained traction at all speaks to how complicated his public persona remains. Even as he attempts to move forward, the specter of past controversies still hovers. In a way, the entire episode served as a cautionary tale for both celebrities and fans. It highlighted the dangers of unverified information and the damage that can be done when rumors are allowed to fester. It also showed the importance of direct communication. In an age where publicists once crafted careful statements and controlled the flow of information, Ortega's use of Instagram to address the rumor was both modern and effective. She didn't wait for a formal press release. She spoke directly to her audience, and her voice carried more weight than any headline. The entertainment industry, for all its glamour, is still a place where perception matters. A single rumor can change the trajectory of a career or taint a public image. That's why stars like Jenna Ortega and Johnny Depp must navigate their lives with such care. For Ortega, the incident was likely a frustrating reminder of the scrutiny she'll continue to face as her star rises. For Depp, it was another reminder of how difficult it can be to separate personal redemption from public opinion. Both emerged from the ordeal unscathed, but the fact that they had to address such a ludicrous claim at all underscores the unpredictable nature of fame. As the dust settles, it's likely that this rumor will be remembered not for its substance, but for the way it was handled. Ortega's no-nonsense response and Depp's swift denial offered a masterclass in crisis management, especially when the crisis is entirely fabricated. The incident also raises questions about accountability in entertainment journalism and social media. Who benefits from spreading such rumors? What responsibility do platforms have in curbing misinformation? And how can the public become more discerning in what they choose to believe? At the end of the day, Jenna Ortega's message couldn't have been clearer. She's focused on her work, not on entertaining baseless speculation. With multiple projects lined up, including the highly anticipated second season of Wednesday and Several film roles in the pipeline, Ortega has no intention of letting gossip distract from her craft. Her quick and confident rebuttal was not just a denial, it was a declaration of independence from the noise that too often consumes young celebrities, and in doing so she reminded everyone why she has become one of the most compelling figures of her generation. Johnny Depp, too, appears to be moving forward. With a new focus on music and film work in Europe, the veteran actor seems content to stay out of the Hollywood spotlight for now. The rumor linking him to Ortega was just a blip, but it reinforced how easily the past can resurface when you're one of the most scrutinized actors in the world. It's unlikely he'll respond to such rumors again unless absolutely necessary. For someone who has endured years of public trials and accusations, perhaps silence, when possible, is the best response. The internet may move quickly, but it rarely forgets. What begins as a whisper on an anonymous account or a speculative post on an obscure blog can, within hours, morph into an internationally trending topic. And even when the truth emerges, clear, irrefutable, and verified, it often struggles to catch up with the falsehood that set everything in motion. This bizarre episode in celebrity gossip history, involving Jenna Ortega and Johnny Depp, is now part of the collective online memory, bound to be revisited, rehashed, and referenced in future gossip cycles. No matter how decisively both parties denied the rumor, the digital footprint it left behind remains indelible. For every correction, there will be dozens of blog entries and cached pages that perpetuate the false narrative. Screenshots of headlines, speculative tweets, and sensational thumbnails will continue to circulate, often stripped of context, serving as fuel for future speculation. In a landscape driven by clicks, likes, and shares, truth is often secondary. To sensationalism, the algorithm rewards controversy, not clarity. That's why rumors like these, especially when they involve two high-profile, polarizing, or unlikely individuals, spread like wildfire. Jenna Ortega and Johnny Depp are names that carry weight, albeit in very different ways. Ortega, the rising Gen Z icon who has quickly evolved from child star to genre queen, is considered one of the most promising actresses of her generation. Her fan base is young, tech-savvy, and hyper-engaged. Johnny Depp, on the other hand, is a Hollywood veteran whose fame spans decades, marred and magnified in recent years by tumultuous legal battles and a polarizing public image. When their names appeared together in a romantic context, it was a perfect storm for internet virality, even if the story was completely fabricated. What's perhaps most alarming about this situation is how quickly the lie became normalized. Many casual observers, those who don't follow celebrity news closely, could easily stumble upon the rumor and accept it at face value. They might never see the denials, or worse, they might assume the denials are part of the PR playbook. The damage then is not just temporary, it's cumulative. Even a single unverified rumor once seeded into public consciousness can persist for years, evolving into an urban legend of sorts. People will remember that something happened between Ortega and Depp, even if they can't recall the specifics or know that it was explicitly denied. This is the toxic efficiency of digital gossip. It thrives on ambiguity and rarely offers resolution. And in a society obsessed with celebrity culture, public figures are constantly at the mercy of narratives they didn't create and can't always control. In the case of Jenna Ortega, being thrust into a rumor involving a man 40 years older than her was not only absurd, but deeply invasive. Her response was swift and unequivocal, but the emotional toll of being the subject of such a rumor, especially at the height of a critical career moment, should not be underestimated. Imagine working tirelessly to be recognized for your talent, only to wake up and find your name trending for a reason that has nothing to do with your work. Jenna Ortega has spent years carefully cultivating a public image based on her craft, values, and work ethic. She's been outspoken about her mental health, representation, and her desire to break out of the traditional molds that limit young actresses. To have that image momentarily clouded by a baseless association with Johnny Depp was frustrating not just because it was untrue, but because it detracted from the narrative she has been intentionally building. She's not just a performer, she is an emerging cultural figure. That kind of agency matters in Hollywood, especially for young women who are constantly battling to be seen as more than just pretty faces or tabloid fodder. For Johnny Depp, the implications were different, but no less serious. Although he and Ortega had never even met, the rumor dredged up old criticisms and reignited debates that had only just begun to quiet. Depp has spent years dealing with the fallout of his legal battles with Amber Heard, enduring some of the most intense public scrutiny of any celebrity in modern history. Even though he technically emerged victorious in court, the court of public. Opinion remains divided. Any new controversy, however minor or false, risks reopening those wounds. His team's rapid and firm denial reflected an awareness of how precarious his position remains. The last thing he needed was to be seen as involving himself in yet another morally questionable situation, especially one with potentially exploitative undertones. What this scandal also revealed was how star power functions differently in the 2020s. It's no longer about studio contracts or carefully managed appearances. Celebrity status now exists in a porous digital ecosystem where narratives are decentralized and rapidly evolving. One viral tweet can overshadow months of PR strategy. One blog post can create an entirely new persona for someone overnight. For celebrities, the challenge is no longer just about protecting their privacy, it's about defending their identity from distortion. And that becomes nearly impossible when people prefer the fiction over the fact. The Jenna Ortega Johnny Depp rumor also brings into focus the gendered dynamics of celebrity scandal. When false romantic rumors arise, women, particularly young women, are often judged more harshly or sexualized more blatantly. The idea of Ortega being linked to Depp was not just scandalous because of the age gap, it was suggestive in a way that cast her as passive, as someone being influenced or groomed, even though she had never so much as met the man. That's a narrative steeped in misogyny, one that assumes women, especially young women in Hollywood, are always vulnerable, always subject to the whims of older male power figures. It strips them of autonomy and subtly reinforces old stereotypes about how women achieve success in male-dominated industries. Ortega's rejection of that narrative was powerful precisely because it was so immediate and unambiguous. She didn't try to finesse the situation. She didn't play coy. She stated the facts and made it clear she would not entertain the rumor. In doing so, she reclaimed control over her story. That's something many women in her position have not always been able to do, especially in past decades when rumors were often allowed to fester unchallenged. Her response set a precedent for how modern stars can respond to the digital rumor mill quickly, honestly, and with dignity. At the same time, this incident exposes how woefully unregulated the internet remains when it comes to misinformation. There are no penalties for creating or spreading false celebrity rumors. Anonymous accounts can generate hundreds of thousands of impressions, influencing public discourse and walk away with no accountability. And in many cases, this misinformation isn't coming from trolls, it's coming from self-described fan pages, gossip blogs, or entertainment commentators who blur the lines between fact and fiction under the guise of speculation. Platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram monetize this kind of content, encouraging creators to post sensational stories for clicks. The result is a feedback loop that rewards deception and punishes restraint. For Ortega and Depp, the rumor may be in the rearview mirror, but its echoes will linger. There will always be those who remember the story without remembering its dismissal. There will always be content creators who revisit the tale as part of a Top 10 Celebrity Rumors video or a Remember When Instagram carousel. But the way both actors responded will also remain. They chose truth over spectacle, clarity over obfuscation. And while their responses may not have gone as viral as the initial rumor, they serve as a lasting example of integrity in a time when such values are often sacrificed for attention. In a world where anyone with a smartphone can become a source of news, where fiction is presented with the same confidence as fact, and where the line between curiosity and voyeurism is increasingly blurred, celebrities like Jenna Ortega and Johnny Depp face an uphill battle to maintain control over their narratives. But by speaking the truth, clearly, unapologetically, and without theatrics, they demonstrated that authenticity still has a place in the modern media landscape. It may not be as flashy or clickable, but in the long run, it is far more enduring. The lesson, then, is one that extends beyond the walls of Hollywood. It applies to anyone navigating the digital age. Be cautious of what you consume. Be critical of what you believe. And when faced with falsehoods, speak the truth. Not because It will always erase the lie, but because it will outlast it.